we look at Jesus' original statement, what he read in the church that day, that thrilled the hearers. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, for he hath anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor. He hath sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to preach deliverance to the captives, recovery of sight to the blind, to set at liberty those that are bruised. There are many captive today. There are many bruised today. There are many who are struggling that need this incredible message. And what we find in our health retreats is that when we bring deliverance to the captives who are captive to sugar, who are captive in the prison house to caffeine, who are captive in the prison house to alcohol, to drugs, to cigarettes. And the sadness is they don't even realize they're captive. They know that life is not good. And they've come to our health retreat to learn how to live a better life. Because the great deceiver, as Revelation chapter 12, verse 9, it says, and that great dragon was cast out, that great deceiver, the devil and Satan, who has deceived the whole world. The deceptions come in so many ways. And I would like to suggest, if we weren't daily surrendering our lives to God, allowing the Spirit of truth to live in us, reading of His Word, acquainting ourselves with Him, no wonder Psalm 34, it says, just taste and see that the Lord is good. That's Psalm 34, verse 8. Just taste and see that the Lord is good. Blessed is the man that trusts in Him. Just try it. Just have a taste. The Bible has the challenge there, and it has the challenge also in 1 Corinthians, where in 1 Corinthians, no, it's 1 Thessalonians. 1 Thessalonians 5:21, the Bible says, prove all things and hold fast to that which is good. This is a challenge from God. He says, just prove me. Just taste. Just see. Prove to yourself. God has given each one of us the choice. And He says, acquaint now thyself with me and be at peace. Just taste and just see that the Lord is good. Blessed is the man that trusts in Him. At our retreat, we see many enslaved by things that they thought were perfectly safe. I know that caffeine is dangerous because in the first 24 hours that people come to our retreat, they suffer. They get terrible headaches. I said to one lady, what is your reason for coming to our retreat? She said, well, I know I was meant to come years ago, but she said I didn't want to give up my two best friends. I said, what are your two best friends? She said, well, actually there's three. She said, caffeine, refined sugar and cheese. And I knew when I came to the retreat that you would tell me how detrimental they are to my body. She said, I am also here to support my husband who has prostate cancer. This couple were in their late 60s. She has a cup of coffee a day. She likes sweet things. She likes her cheese. Our guests come in Sunday. Monday evening, she was so sick. This lady was vomiting. She had the most terrible headache. We had staff working round the clock just to bring her some relief. And in the lecture, I just spoke about how to relieve pain. We have a lot of tricks up our sleeve at the health retreat, especially for headaches. If you put the feet in hot water and put cool on their head and massage the back of the head, it brings relief. But we had to do that quite often to her because she was so sick. On Tuesday morning, she woke up a much happier lady. The headache was gone. She was able to drink water. At the end of the week, as we're having our final consultation together, I said, do you still call them your three best friends? Because if they're best friends, I don't want any. She laughed. She said, I see what you mean. She said, I am surprised at how delicious the food is. I thought without sugar and without cheese, you could not make food taste good. But she said, I have to admit that the food is delicious here. I said, I'm so glad that you see that. She said, the suffering I went through on Monday evening, I don't want to go through that again. And so when I go home, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to throw my 3 best friends out, because I now realise that they are not my friends. You see, a deceiver had deceived her into thinking she couldn't enjoy her food without that, she couldn't enjoy her life without that. I'm so glad for the health work. I'm so glad for the health retreats, because we see prison doors open. I saw this captive free. I saw the blindness come away. I saw her eyes opened, and she began to discern the truth, that the great deceiver had deceived her into thinking, these wouldn't hurt, a little bit won't matter, but it certainly had. And even though I don't like to see people suffer, I also acknowledge that suffering is sometimes necessary to show them how detrimental these things are. That they are not as it appears. You look at the ads on the television, on the side of the road, on the billboards, for the people drinking Coca-Cola, drinking coffee, eating sugar. Oh, they're the happiest people you've seen, and they're very good looking. And the message almost is, you will look like this and feel like this if you eat that. It's a great deception. It's a huge deception. Anyway, the footnote of this couple was, we saw them a year later, and they came up to us smiling. They said, we've just been to the doctor and my husband no longer has prostate cancer. Isn't that good news? And the good news is that the food that his wife is giving him is delicious food. It's the food that she learnt how to cook at the retreat. And he said, I have a happy wife now. He said, before, she was always in the morning, you couldn't even look at her, you couldn't say a thing to her, you had to keep out of her way until she'd had her cup of coffee with her 2 teaspoons of sugar, and then you could have a civil conversation with her. There are so many addicts that don't realise that they are addicted to these substances. How do you know if you're an addict? Well, stop it and just see what your body does. We see more people suffer from caffeine withdrawals than any other withdrawal. It's a great deception.